Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever. Whatever. G'day. Today, patch 0.16.0. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the positives, the negatives, the way I feel like Pubg Mobile is pushing people towards a certain direction, traffic-wise, with their gameplay. The massive changes to the damage on SMG, shotguns, bolt actions, all the numbers. And thank you so much, all the patrons. It's patreon.com/thebushka. The guys that you hear me playing with on stream in squads and all that kind of thing. Also the guys who come in on patch day with me do a heap of custom rooms and test all the gun and the damage models out, which is really important for us to know. It's also been a huge day because I'm going to have to do a lot of work on updating my webpage, thebushka.com, which has all the Pubg Mobile numbers, not the PC numbers. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the patch, the good, the bad, the ugly, the Sergio Leone spaghetti western of Pubg Mobile patches. And this is definitely a good and a bad patch. There's some things in here which I'm going to get right off the bat I think are absolutely terrible ideas. The classic mode, Snow Paradise, I understand that people dig that kind of content. I think it's resources ill spent. I have no time for it. It doesn't have any positive outcome for me at all. I don't need to snowboard down a mountain. I can buy a snowboarding down a mountain game if I want to do that. The other thing I really feel is a super negative that is not being talked about enough is the loadout penalty for players that don't play Team Deathmatch or TDM that much, and how you've got to now level up your Evo Ground loadout. I don't really play Evo Ground. I play it occasionally with my mates for a bit of fun, and I'll play it to grind in new controls or learn stuff. But the fact that new players who go in get a Scar L with no equipment on it, and older players who play a lot of Evo can level up to a Graza is just disgusting. I just don't like it. I think it's a really, really bad idea. And I don't understand. It's like they're trying to copy COD Mobile's weapon progression system, which they have where you have to level up guns. Anyway, I went and played. I needed something for the background of this, so I went and played TDM. I just went AFK, died twice in the spawn, and then had a 27 kill winning streak running TPP because I sat here and just did TPP things, which leads me into the other part that I don't really understand, the FPP mode that you can enable in TPP. I don't get it. This is a massive advantage. Doing this, being completely hidden, looking at a wall and knowing when to strafe out is just a joke. It's a game mechanic that I hate. You all know that. You know I don't like TPP because it's easy. That's basically the issue I have with it. It rewards passive gameplay. So enabling an FPP mode in TPP is just, it's crazy. Why would you use it? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, but it's there and I won't be using it, so no skin off my nose. But if you want to use it, you're basically putting yourself at a disadvantage to all the other humans. I can think of very, very few situations where it's an advantage. So you have that. So I don't like those things. Fair enough. Let's get the bad out of the way. Let's now talk about the really positive parts of the patch, which I think there's some great quality of life changes and there's some really good changes that will add tremendously to the dynamic part of the game. Number one is healing on the move. Being able to heal while you're in motion has been in the PC version of the game for a long time, and it's an excellent idea. It was never really a realistic idea that you couldn't drink a Red Bull in the back of a car or bandage yourself while you were walking slowly. And the fact that there's a movement penalty while you're doing it is great. So now when you're trying to get into that last zone, you can be hitting a heal as you walk along behind a building, getting touched up by the blue zone, but that won't actually stop you. I think that's excellent. Really, really good. Classic mode healing and continuous bandage healing. Just brilliant. Brilliant stuff, right? Really, really good. The spectator tier restrictions. This touches on the hacking idea. I've known about this for a long time. It's something I don't like. I know a lot of you have asked my opinion on the Riggs video where he interviewed a hacker. I don't show that stuff because what I found is it just weaponizes more wankers. So people seeing that video, I'll guarantee you the only thing that showing hacks on a Pubg Mobile video does is encourage people to go and get hacks. It's not like you're going to stop the people that weren't doing it anyway, but you're certainly going to show more people that they can weaponize their account by paying some money, and there's very little downside to it. So I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing, but this is an excellent change. Now you low tiers can't spectate higher tiers, and this was coming for a long time. because obviously they're using separate accounts to spectate their high tier account and then running it on a device next to them, like a computer screen or whatever. That's gone now, right? So that's cool. Could I just clear up? I think Riggs is awesome. I have no problems with Riggs, and he provides content. And if people are watching it, that's content that they want to watch. This is just my personal, the way I deal with it, right? Riggsy, love ya. Friendly fire kill restrictions, another good quality of life thing where if people, and we all get them, the wankers who blow up your vehicle while you're in it to get your AWM, and then you can prevent them from taking your items, which is amazing. I think that's just so good, right? I just think it's so amazing. I think that's really, really good. There's a lot of other stuff like that is just on the lower end of the scale, graphics-wise, and that I'm not really interested again. There are some cool things, though, that have happened in the way the guns and the weapons are being used. And I think this is a huge reaction by Pubg Mobile to the current meta, which is just so simple of using a 3x or a 6x scope down to a 3, an M416, even you saw the video, I did the other day, where I'm doing that at 150, 200 meters with an M762, spraying with an M762. So Pubg Mobile have pushed hard towards SMGs and bolt actions this patch. Bolt actions got a flat 30% buff to their damage to torso. Now, a lot of people looked at the notes and thought that it was an AWM nerf. The reason they've done this, the AWM's been lowered, its base damage has been lowered from 132 to 120. The reason for this is pretty obvious when you look at the numbers, and I've got the numbers in my spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is on my Discord server, the link to which is in the description below, and I've been updating that all day with the stuff that we've sorted out. The AWM currently at that base level, with 120 base damage level, is doing 93.6 damage to a level 2 vest. If you had it at its old number without nerfing it and flat buffing everything that's a bolt action by 30%, including the Winchester, then the AWM would have been knocking people in level 2 vests with the chest shot, which is, look, I got to tell you, I run a lot of bolt actions. This is going to be a big patch for bolt actions, and I wouldn't be surprised if that 30% number gets downgraded to 15%, because that is just too big a number. For example, if you get hit with an AWM in a level 2 vest and you're not at 100% health, and we all know that as you get towards the late game and firefights and things, you get hit and you use a 75% med kit, that will pump you back up. That AWM that'll wipe you. It'll wipe you. Even in a level 3 vest, an AWM will do 70 base damage now to a level 3 vest. The M24 is going to do 71 damage to a level 1 vest and will in fact one-shot you if you don't have a vest on at all. So that never used to be the case. But if you get hit in the chest without armor at like point blank when you start the game, the M24 will flat out knock you off your chops. So hats off there. You can see there's a huge change there. The other thing that's changed is the SMG's getting a flat 5% buff to torso damage is massive. And this is where the danger is in buffing. For instance, I have to test this out, and I haven't had time to completely test everything. Like we spent hours today, me and the patrons, just running around in training rooms, sorting things out. Lovely 27 kill combo, exploiting the super aggressive TPP game mechanic there, where you stand behind something, wait for someone to come out in the open, and then you strafe out, shoot them, and straight back in. Whew. Dynamic. Here's something we found out today as well. If you get in a car and you all sit in a car underwater, it eventually floats to the surface like the Titanic in reverse. I don't know why it does that, but we were trying to drown ourselves so we could get our numbers. We do this. We go to boot camp. We all fire a single shot with a certain weapon and a certain body part. Then we all go and drown ourselves so that we can get those numbers. And yet we all jumped in the car and it just floated back to the surface. So there you go. 5% is not a lot for some guns in a realistic sense. Now, 5% base damage as a buff to a torso shot is good. Like, a damage buff is a damage buff. But for instance, it doesn't change how long it takes a Tommy gun to clear a full health target wearing a level 2 vest. That is still 0.38 seconds, because that 5% buff doesn't give them a whole shot off. The gun it does do that to, it seems to me, and I have to absolutely test this out, is the MP5K. The MP5K goes from needing a full 6 rounds to clear a target to needing a 5 rounds to clear a target, which means its time to kill goes from like 0.32 down to 0.258, which is even better than an Uzi 9mm. Plus, it gets to run all the attachments and have an extra 5 rounds in the clip with an extended mag, as well as run red dots and 3Xs and 4Xs and all that kind of thing, and spray. So the MP5K, I would be surprised if you don't see a lot more people running an MP5K on Vikendi. That 5% damage buff to the torso and a 5% damage buff to limb shots means that this gun is now a very, very, very viable primary slot weapon, like an excellent primary slot weapon. I would be surprised if you don't see more of it. It was very, very hard to test the shotguns, guys. The shotguns getting a raise from, say, 22 to 24 with an S12K on its base, it's like you're shooting pellets with shotguns. You're not shooting just one round. Every shot contains a set amount of pellets. So when you fire all those pellets, I think it's 10 pellets, right? Or is it 20? I remember it used to add up to double your health pool, like 225 damage, or 250 damage. And that's no longer the case. Now, finding out and hitting a person with just one pellet is nigh on bloody impossible. Like you're a better man than I am, and you've got more time on your hands if you can actually figure out how to do that. So we couldn't really test that. It didn't really dovetail in, but the meta is clear. They want to see more bolt actions, less spraying at range, and a reward for running some of these hard to find guns like Kar98Ks and M24s and AWMs. The AWM now is going to be just obscene. It is going to be absolutely obscene. The damage it puts out is... G'day, Ozmeister. Everyone coming in. This is us trying to clear the last bit. I mean, I'm yelling at Ozmeister. Stop panic, people. We want to blow everyone up. It's for content. This is going to look great. For God's sakes, the play zone's got me. Just kill me now. The thing I do want to say, which is a massive positive, and I spent like 2 hours playing last night with Mr. Ouija, is the incredible, like absolutely nuts out, incredible speed pursuit that is Rage Gear. It's outstanding. Lightspeed, Quantum, PUBG Mobile, all you good guys and humans, Tencent, this is an amazing mode. The variety that we get as a Battle Royale game is pretty phenomenal. The idea that you can jump in and play something as completely outrageous as this, payload mode, Evo mode, zombie mode. I mean, this is one game that just has 1,000 different ways to have a good time, which I think is pretty good, right? I think that is pretty cool. It's like, you get a lot of people saying, I can't believe they put this new mode in and they didn't fix hacking instead. Guys, you got to understand that that's not a rational statement. The people who model this car, for instance, and put machine guns and auto shotguns on the front and build this arena are not the people that work on the netcode and sort out the hacking. Like, it's not like just because there's a doctor available, he can run your heart surgery. Like, some people, they're just there to look at your ear, nose, and throat. And so that's the kind of resources that they do. Everyone has a job, right? There's a budget, there's a job, there's things they do. This is what's up. And this is a lovely testament to the variety of the game. So ecstatically happy with this mode of gameplay. I think it's right up there with payload mode for giggle. I'm ecstatically unhappy with the fact you've got to level up guns in TDM, and that's just made it far more likely that I will never run TDM now. And the longer it goes on, like right now is probably the most balanced TDM will ever be ever again, because at the moment there's fewer people who are running around with grasses and things, but in a week or two, all the guys that play a lot of TDM will have top-end guns, and you'll be running a Scar L when you start, and that's about as much fun as stabbing yourself in the eyeballs with a rusty fork. So you won't find me there. The guns on the outside of the vehicles are brilliant. I really loved the balanced Dacia, which was just like playing in a World War II fighter plane. You just try and run along behind them. It would auto-lock and then start shooting them, which I just thought was awesome. It was like red leader, blue leader out of Star Wars. Just so much fun going through, getting repairs, and we just screaming in my ears, oh, go right, target right, oh my God. Like a lot of giggle. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you check out those spreadsheets and things in the Discord server. Join my Discord server. We've got like nearly 11,000 people in there now. Go and check it out. And we do a lot of live streams and all that kind of thing. And I talk to people downstairs in the subs and grubs section. Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming in this patch. Look after yourselves. And as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.